Hey girls, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm talking all about the strategies that I personally use to help me maintain my positive mental health. I believe that those are big buzzwords: mental health, mental illness. Those are words that we hear thrown around a lot, and I'm going to dig into what those words really mean and how they apply to today's video. But I want to share these things with you. These are things that I personally use. These are things that I teach the girls that I mentor and help them cultivate some of their own. And so my hope is that after today's video that you'll use these same things for your own life, or maybe you'll take these and create your own. I don't know, take some, leave some, don't use any of them, but be inspired. Whatever you do, girl, just get some things in place that are going to help take care of you, because these are things that are important for us as women to remember, because as life goes on, things happen, and you have to have some things that keep you aligned and help you to show up not just for yourself, but to be able to show up effectively for others. So, before we get started, I want to talk about mental health. So, mental health is essentially your emotional well-being. It's referring to not necessarily good or bad mental health. It's just a state of being. And so think of it as the health of your mind, right? But it's not limited to just your mind. It's limited to your social well-being, your emotional well-being, and all of that, and also your mental well-being. All of that also is going to impact the decisions that you make. It's going to affect how you take care of yourself, how you respond to stress, how you even respond to good things. If our mental health is not being taken care of, then you can definitely see that and how it impacts your life. My goal is to give you some strategies that you can use to help you with a positive mental health. Mental illness refers to specific specific disorders that affect you mentally, emotionally, as well. So those are when you get into, there are, countless numbers: depression, schizophrenia, you name it. That's when people talk about mental illness, that's what they're talking about. And those things as well will also greatly impact you and how you show up in the world and how you show up for yourself. Again, these are strategies that, like I said in the beginning of the video, I personally use, and I'm just going to walk you through what those are. So let's jump in. The first thing that I do every morning is I spend time with God, and that looks like right now, what that looks like is I'm reading my Bible and I'm praying. But it hasn't always looked that way. It used to just be, I would read just the proverb of the day. If you didn't know, there are 31 proverbs, and so you read one chapter a day for the month, and you can just keep doing that every month. You can start over, and you will be surprised that even though you're reading the same thing over again, you find something new to take away. In the beginning, that also sometimes looked like me journaling. And I could find really good prompts on Pinterest. I encourage my girls to do that because it gives you some really good thought-provoking things to write about, but it's also causing you to really think deeply about yourself, checking in with you, and knowing where you are and knowing what you believe, knowing what you need. Just very reflective, and I found that it was very beneficial. And sometimes that was also memorizing scriptures. Your time with God can look like whatever, but that's just some of the things that I've done in the past, and what I currently do. I also like to end the day with that reflective piece. So I use a gratitude journal, and it causes me to think about my day, reflect back on my day. What are my highs, or what were my highs? What were my lows? And set goals for the next day. My second strategy that I like to keep in place is I say no to certain foods. I have to make sure that I am able to tell myself no about certain things. That means that just because everybody else is eating cupcakes and ice cream, it doesn't mean that I have to eat it just because it's there. Too much sugar can also throw your pH levels off. We'll talk about that in another video. It can also just not be good for your digestive tract. And so you have to be mindful of how much sugar intake you're taking in, and not just sugar, but just junk, period. And so I'm very mindful about that. I make sure that I'm not just eating chips all day, and I actually eat things that are nutritious. I also like to make sure that I drink a lot of water, because that also helps me to regulate my body. And you'll notice, you may not notice it now as a teen, but as you get older, especially as a woman, you'll begin to notice that that can impact you as well. And so drinking a lot of water is definitely a pro tip, sis. Another strategy that I use is I make sure that I try to get active every single day. I usually can do some type of workout before my son gets up, and that can look like anything. And I tell girls that you can even watch a YouTube dance Zumba video, or YouTube's dance period video that you can follow along with, or even if you're just stretching along to a video, or you pop some music in and you do some stretches in your room. Just something to get that body going is really helpful, especially if you do some type of cardio. That means something that gets your heart pumping a little bit faster. That could be just a power walk in the morning. Maybe you power walk to the bus or something. I don't know. But what that does is it wakes your body up. It gets your blood flowing. And it really helps you in a lot of different areas, not just physically, not just losing weight. People just talk about how working out is good for losing weight and things like that. But that's not all. It really does impact us and our mental health as well. So I like to do that. Personally, I like to do mine in the morning before I start the day. I know some people who like to do theirs in the evenings. That's totally fine too. I used to work out in the evenings. It helped me to sleep a lot harder because I would be so tired after a long day and then working out and then, winding down. I will say, though, if you work out too late, sometimes it can wake you up, and so it may be hard for you to go down. So picking a good time to actually work out in the evenings is really important, so that you don't shoot yourself in the foot and then you are like wide awake at nighttime. This is probably one of my favorite ones. I am really big on setting phone boundaries. Yeah, I know. Phone boundaries, because I am one of those people that can get sucked in really easily on social media, just scrolling and laughing at funny videos, or even replying to messages, texting people. It's very easy to get sucked into those things. And honestly, I think I'm going to do a video on the, what's it called? There's a documentary about it, but basically like the lies and how social media really works, because it's all a science, y'all. They know us, okay, based off of how we normally show up. Like, they know when you're going to pick up your phone. They know when to send notifications. They know how to get you to get back on your phone when you've been away from it. Yeah, it's a whole situation, okay? And I got tired of I got tired of being played, okay? I told my phone, like, no, you don't work for me. I don't work for you. You work for me, okay? So I have an iPhone, and I'm sure with Androids, they probably have similar features, but I'm going to be talking about iPhone features because that's what I know. And so in your settings on an iPhone, you can set your screen time. You can set your goals that you want to achieve. So I'm really excited to say that in my settings, if I go to screen time, I am down. It's still loading, but I'm down like 24%. And it's 3 hours and 35 minutes is what I usually average right now, which is a little bit high. I have been on my phone a lot in the last 2 days, and you can see that Monday I was on there a lot yesterday. So I usually like to see myself down like 2 hours on average. That's still really high, but I also have to think about what I have going on in that season of my life. If I'm like really busy, then obviously it would be lower than that. But if I'm home a lot, or I don't have a lot of errands to run, or I haven't had a lot of photo shoots and things like that, I might notice that it's a little bit higher. And so in that, you can set different boundaries for yourself. You can set your app limits. I have just social media apps like Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and you can customize that however you want. You can set limitations on that, y'all. So I usually set it when I'm really working on it. Like, say I've been on my phone a lot, my screen time is like really high, then I will go in and I will set myself a 15-minute limits because I'm like, I'm cutting this off, okay? And you may be thinking 15 minutes a day, that's it. You can do it, okay? But you also don't have to do 15 minutes. You could do 45 minutes, you could do an hour, whatever. And what will happen is once you reach your limit, then it will lock you out of all of those things, or whatever apps you put in there, because you can customize it for what apps you want. You can also get more time by entering in your password if you want to, so you can override that. But it's a good reminder, and it just kind of checks me, because when that pops up and it says, hey, you've reached your screen time limit, it makes me think, do I really need to enter in my password? Do I really need to get back on here? Or have I been on here long enough and I can go find something else to do? And it's a really good reminder for me, and it helps me to save my time, keeps me from just wasting time and scrolling and looking at things that I don't even need to look at, that are actually taken away from what else I really could be doing. Another thing that I like on here with my phone boundaries is I can set my downtime so that when it's time for me to go to bed, my phone's not like going off like this. My phone automatically knows, like, don't send me no more notifications unless it's like really important from these people, so that I'm not distracted, because I'm that person, my phone lights up, or like anybody else, when it vibrates, then I just want to go pick it up. And so I'm reaching on my nightstand, picking up my phone, and I don't even need to. So it really helps me to wind down at night. I could probably go on and on about this because it's one of my favorite boundaries that I've set for myself, but I'm going to stop there. Feel free to go and explore, try it out, test yourself, see how long you can go, and see what are some things that you could maybe change in your settings that will help you to not be on your phone as much either. This strategy really changed the game for me. I started setting a small to-do list, and that's apart from just my everyday, regular, non-negotiable things like making my bed. That is something that's not considered on my to-do list. That's just something that I know for sure that I do every day. But in addition to me having those things that I know for sure that I do regularly, like, for example, unloading the dishwasher, that's something that I do every morning, and put the dishes away. That's not considered one of my to-do lists. One of my things on my to-do list. My to-do list is usually something small, and I choose 2 to 3. I am struggling to talk about this right now. I choose 2 to 3 different things that I want to focus on for that day that I know I really want to get out of the way. And that might be something as small as I want to wash and dry and fold 1 load of laundry. Maybe I want to read for 45 minutes. Maybe I need to record a video. And then that could be my 3 things for sure that I want to get done. So anything else that I do is extra, but those 3 things are like, I'm doing these things today, and I know for sure, like, I need to set things aside so that I can get those 3 things done. Again, it's 2 to 3 things. What I found is when I start trying to set really big, long lists of goals to do, it can get very overwhelming, and then I get frustrated because I wasn't actually able to do all of it. And when I set smaller to-do lists, I feel way more accomplished because I'm actually able to get them done, and it just fuels me for the next day. I would encourage you to think about what are some of those things for you. Maybe it's homework. Maybe it is spending time with one of your parents or a sibling. Maybe you want to play a game with them. You want to be intentional about something that day, whatever it may be. But setting some goals will help you to be very productive in your days, especially on days that you have no school. But these are things that you could do. This is something that you could do even during the school week, okay? I personally have found that when I don't follow through with these strategies, say I fall off on one of them, I notice a difference in my mental health. I notice a difference within myself, maybe in my mood or maybe I'm just thrown off that day and just like, I don't know, like sometimes, you just have an off day and you're like, what was happening with me today? I also have noticed that if I fall off on more than one though, I'm completely thrown off. And it's really hard for me to stay in like this straight line, if you will, I don't want to say straight line, that's a bad example, but it really helps me to get from point A to point B efficiently. And when I have fallen off on more than one of these, I call them my pillars, I notice that I'm like all over the place, and it makes it very difficult for me to get back to where I was and get to point B from point A. So when I think about mental health and I think about my mental health, I know that I want to be efficient. That's something that's really important to me. I also want to be productive, and I also want to be a woman of God. And Proverbs 31, if you haven't read that one, sis, I encourage you to go read it, because she was everything, okay? In that chapter, the Bible was talking about what they refer to as a virtuous woman. And they're talking about how this woman she is an entrepreneur. She is a mastermind. She is a helper. She's bomb.com. Okay. She's a mom. She's a wife. She's, like I said, she's a business owner. She's got her own multiple streams of income, if you really break that down. And I desire to be what the Bible describes as a virtuous woman. And part of that is, girl, I got to be together myself, right? Before I can start adding on anything else to my plate. And when I take care of me, I'm able to also take care of my son, take care of my husband, show up for my ministry, show up for the girls that I mentor. And I'm not perfect. So yeah, I fall off sometimes, but I have this framework of pillars that I know are going to help me get back to where I need to be. Sometimes we like to blame our being off or our moods or our attitudes on our period. And sis, sometimes it's just plain us, okay? It has nothing to do with your menstrual cycle. It has nothing to do with that. Or I won't say nothing. Sometimes that does play a part. But we can have the upper hand. And I tell the girls that I mentor that too. Your menstrual cycle does not get to dictate your mood forever, okay? At some point, we have to take back control and say, you know what? I may not feel very well right now. I may be cramping, but hey, I got this small to-do list today, and I'm for sure going to knock those things out. And your to-do list can change. You don't have to say you're going to, build Rome all in one day. Like, maybe your to-do list today is real chill because you're cramping really bad this whole week. Maybe you're not on your phone as much this week because you are on your phone a little bit more this week because you're not feeling well. Maybe you are taking it easy with some of your extracurricular activities. I don't know. Maybe you're getting more sleep. You get to customize that and decide what that looks like for you. But I just encourage you to do so. Just give it some thought and see what are some things that you can change. And I would love to hear what it is that is working for you. So comment below. What are you walking away with from this video? Are you going to take away one of my strategies? Do you have some strategies that you personally use? I would love to hear those. I would love to cheer you on. Cheer you on. That was real country. Cheer you on. If you are needing some help fine-tuning those, feel free to DM me at Jazmine Nicole. That's Jazmine, Jazmine, and Nicole with no I, on Instagram, and we can flesh out some things and see what are some areas of your life that you could modify, and some parameters and pillars that you could set up in your life. These are mine, like I said, the 5 strategies that I use to help me to stay grounded, to take care of my mental health, which ultimately takes care of my body, takes care of my social well-being, and helps me to show up for myself, for my family, for my friends, and everything else that I am connected to. And I hope that this is something that helped you. I hope that you're able to take away something to grow and become even better. I'll see you guys next video. Bye.